Hello everyone, this is Angel here, resuming the Let's Play of TFTC Reimagined with developer commentary. And today it's Battle 3 Mission 4. We've got our space station deployed, partially at least. And it's patrol duty, I believe.
Construction of our new space installation, designated NL-1, has proceeded swiftly and is nearing completion. However, most of the defense systems are still being installed, which means its shields are only partially functioning and no active targeting systems. Additionally, the Victory-class Star Destroyer Stalwart has left the area to rendezvous with a final convoy which is carrying TIE starfighters intended for the station. We've received intelligence that the rebels, alongside the Pakuuni pirates, are planning a surgical strike on the station whilst it is still relatively defenseless, in the hopes of thwarting our efforts to bring order to this sector. This cannot be allowed. You will be the flight leader in an assault gunboat designated Tau 1, and will patrol the area along with our other TIE squadrons. The modified frigate Ludwig and the modified corvettes Horvus will support and help provide cover for the station. Because NL-1 currently lacks any active defenses, it will be very easy for fighters to make torpedo runs and quickly destroy the station. Therefore, your primary goal will be to ensure the safety of the station by intercepting any torpedo attacks and destroying enemy bombers. Enemy opposition can be...
I don't believe the modified corvettes Horvus exists in the original campaign. I could be wrong.
We know the rebels,
but I wanted to have a bit more force here to help defend the station, and the jobs of these corvettes are basically anti-torpedo duty.
can always use more.
I've mentioned before that if you give a starship a protect order, they will shoot down any torpedo that's going towards, well, whatever they're protecting.
The new NL-1 space station.
In this case, obviously, the station in lore does not have any defenses yet. It has the no lasers flag, so it will not defend itself. Which means it's very easy pickings. So in this case, the modified corvettes act as its torpedo defense. But that's not going to be enough. You're still going to need to do a fair bit of work here to defend the station from being destroyed.
The modified frigate Ludwig and the modified corvettes Horvus will maintain a close patrol around the station. Assault gunboats Tau and our remaining TIE squadrons will intercept and engage any potential attackers. Without weapon systems and full shields, the station will be especially vulnerable to torpedo attacks.
Exactly.
Intercepting any bombers and incoming torpedoes are your top priority.
This is a bomber-heavy mission. Lots of torpedo intercepts to do, lots of bombers to do. There's a lot of waves to deal with. So yeah, let's see how we get on. So again, a bit like D34, I've added more freighter traffic, more containers, just to make it look like, okay, we're establishing this outpost, work is being done. The freighter names there are the same as the freighters that arrived in Mission 3 at the end. So again, a little bit of narrative consistency, continuity. Should really use the word continuity a bit more. And here we go. Again, I've added more of a pirate Pakuuni presence. I've given them a pair of Corellian gunships, along with the pair of rebel corvettes that come in. I think in the original it's 4 modified corvettes can come in. I think a couple come in only on the hard difficulty.
Those Y-wings before they launch too many torpedoes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any hard difficulty corvettes that come in this version of the mission. But yeah, here we go. Start interceptions and bombers and torpedoes. It starts off relatively easy, but you get increasingly number waves of torpedo bombers coming in, and it gets harder and harder to actually deal with all this. And you still actually need to deal with the corvettes relatively early on, because otherwise they're just going to end up getting fairly close to the station. But luckily you're armed with torpedoes, so with your torpedo count you can easily deal with 2 of them, presuming they don't get shot down. And then you've got to quickly stop a shuttle from escaping, which I think should happen any moment. Ow.
K2, keep your distance.
I'm not really trying because I need to keep, yeah. I'll try and keep my distance. Okay, I'll try. Shields holding. There's the shuttle.
NL-1 is taking torpedo.
You might notice when ships are exploding that certainly the larger explosion, they just sometimes disappear. This is a bug in the engine. The explosions seem to just... there seems to be a limit on how many explosions can actually be displayed on screen. Although we have written a hook, or part of the hook, that should give us the ability to show more explosions. That doesn't seem to work. So unfortunately, when there's a lot more going on the screen, you won't see as many explosions. Certainly the big explosion when the ship is finally destroyed sometimes doesn't happen, so all you get is the ship despawning and suddenly a bunch of debris spawning in its place, which, doesn't look great, but we've not been able to sort that out. So an interesting thing, early on, was it early on? I'd say early last year, a few months before release, Vince T, who's the modeler who remade the platform stations, the Platform 2 model there is a fairly recent one. An ability was added by Jeremy, I think, to only display certain parts of a mesh. So, although we did test this, I completely forgot about it and never actually got around to doing this properly. We can actually set it so that the station appears partially constructed. You won't see proper scaffolds or anything, but basically we hide certain parts of the mesh, like we can hide an arm or two and show it maybe partially constructed. And I should really get back to adding that in, because that's a nice little visual indicator there of the station that's under construction, because as far as you know, without being told, that station is completely built, fully operational. So yeah, gonna have to note that down to do that. Oh dear, I might lose this if I'm not careful. Heavily damaged means its hull is below 50%, so I've still got a lot more to do here. So best get my act together.
K2, attacking craft, dead ahead.
Another thing visually I did for 1.2 is adjust a lot of the lighting effects. Lighting isn't too complex in this game. You basically, a background can have act as a light source. In the editor, you define the background, you define how big the background is, and you define how bright it is. And the brightness, you can basically tell it what colour it will be, and that's just a simple RGB slider. There's not much to lighting beyond that. In terms of certainly lighting up the mission, as far as the lights from laser glows, and as you can see the shadows on your cockpit from the sun, that's all controlled by the DDRAW DLL file, which is worked on by BlueMax. But the main mission lighting, I did some adjustments, so I went to great efforts to match the colour of the sun or any other major light source to the colour that it should be displaying, and made some missions a bit darker, others a bit brighter, but yeah, it's really helped with the atmosphere in 1.2 since we've done these visual updates. I think these missions look a lot better than when we first initially did the release of TFTC. So yeah, you notice in this mission, because this is a very red themed background, you can see all the ships have this kind of red glow, red glow to them, and it all fits in the background quite nicely, I think, if I do say so myself. So I think the station's on like 13% hull right now, so if it gets like 1 or 2 more torpedo hits, that's it, it's dead. So I'm really trying desperately to stop this, because I think there's still a few more bombers to come in, and I'm being attacked by escort shuttles now. But there's torpedoes. Go away. Go away. I have torpedoes to intercept. Do you understand? Shields holding, Captain. Evasive pattern Delta. Or whatever they do in Star Trek. This I like how I've put the frigate. It's slowly come round to intercept itself, you know, put itself in between the oncoming attacks in the station, so it will again help shoot down torpedoes. There's an extra layer of defense there. I did have to shift it up a bit because some ships ended up crashing into it on their way back because it was on the same plane, Z plane. Unfortunately, the AI in this game is too stupid, pathfinding wise, to not crash into things. If you give it an order to fly somewhere, it will obey that order without deviation. So if there's an object in its way, it will fly into that object and kill itself, which is really irritating sometimes. There's a few missions where I've had issues where a mission critical target was destroyed because your friends just ended up flying into it, and occasionally your enemies as well. Because collision damage in this game is weird. If a fighter gets stuck for some reason, it doesn't instantly necessarily get destroyed, but suddenly does massive damage to the station or starship it comes from, and the starship's just suddenly dead. But okay, I think we've beat them. The rebels are dead, and the pirates. We're just waiting for the stalwart to arrive now with the final convoy. Again, possibly too much waiting here, but this is kind of dependent on how quickly you take out the rebels. And yeah, we're not waiting that long. It's just a minute there.
Has survived, and construction work can now continue. The stalwart has arrived with the final convoy.
So yeah, that was that mission. Job done. Well done, chaps. You can see a few more freighters have arrived with the stalwarts as well. I guess I should really head back to the Ludwig. All power to engines.
Enter the hangar, Tower 1.
That's what I'm doing. Jesus, give me a minute. Taking in the view.
Report to the debriefing room at once.
Bye-bye, transport.
Well done. The rebel strike force was repelled. The station suffered several torpedo hits, but has otherwise weathered the attack well.
You mean it was almost completely destroyed and was down to critical hull levels? Again, this would be a nice... if only we could have variable dialogue. If there was a trigger that says, you know, if the station took more than X amount of damage or had this amount of hull strength left, we could change the dialogue to say the station suffered critical damage. But then that gets into a whole other ballpark. If we had narrative branching, then the missions should also branch from that, but that's just not possible. And also it would be a hell of a lot more work if we were able to do that. But imagine the possibilities if we could. If you made a decision in one mission which would have directly have consequences on the next mission. But unfortunately that's not the case. It has to be treated in a very linear fashion. You can see our 7th Fleet pendant there. Got some more emails. No. Oh, this looks boring. Just about maintenance. I want to see what Thrawn has to say. So is this explaining why the rebels have so many Lambda shuttles in their lineup? They do seem to capture a lot of Imperial shuttles, don't they? All from that one shuttle in Return of the Jedi. We have captured an Imperial shuttle with all the codes, but it checks out. And the XG-1 there is the gunboat, in case you weren't familiar with that. But anyway, that was that mission. Join me next time for the final mission, which is one mission less than the classic version of Battle 3. I will see you then, and until then, good hunting.